Hello guys and welcome to this probably short, I'm not sure how long it'll go on for, introduction to Swedish. Hopefully I'll continue these on, get more in depth and help you construct sentences and talk and sort of live your everyday life in Sweden if you're here. But yeah, let's dive straight in. The first thing we're going to learn is a simple sentence which will be, oh my Swedish isn't on. Jag är en man. This, you can probably guess what it means, is I am a man. It's pretty straightforward. Before we dive deeper, I'm going to show you these special characters which they use in Swedish, which is and or. Now, the way to know how these are pronounced would be, this is like air, as it would be, maybe a bit more with a more open mouth. Is a hard one. I can never think of a word which uses it, but think of like a disgusted sound, like and that's, you pretty much got it. Or you just got to remember that shape, not an umlaut, those are umlauts, but the shape that above the O, that's sort of the shape your lips want to be, or like the O, or, which is, that's basically it. So we'll keep those there for just so you can keep them. But yeah, there's no word order changing. Word order rarely changes in Swedish, but this is just simply I am a man. Now the next thing to know is air. Now the beautiful thing with Swedish is they use air for what we would use are, is, and all these words that you got, I am a man, are you over there, all these different words for a state of being in the presence. The Swedish just use air, so a lot less learn. Now the next thing to note is N. Now they do have genders in Swedish, which I hated when I learnt my GCSE French, but it's not too bad. They're not male and female, they are common and neuter. So common nouns account for about 3/4 of all Swedish nouns, whereas neuter nouns obviously account for the last quarter. And if men was a neuter, it would be ett. So jag är ett men, but it's not, it's en. Now say you women aren't left out, that is obviously man. Woman would be na. So that is our basic sentence at the moment, and we're gonna move on from this, and we're gonna talk about nouns and stuff and how they're constructed in Swedish. And we're going to use a different word. I'm going to introduce you to a new word, flaska, which means bottle. It's quite high up on the Swedish Wikipedia page, so I chose it. But flaska means bottle. That's it, just bottle. Now in English, if you wanted to make that plural, you just add an S, bottles. The Swedish don't do that. They have flaskor. They take off that A and they add OR. Sometimes they add a different vowel here. There are 4 different groupings for what they'd change up, but we're focused on the most common now, which is or words, and flaskor is one of them. Now, that is, sorry, bottles. Now, the next word we're going to do is the bottle. Now, the one shortcoming with Swedish that I find personally as a foreigner speaking it is they don't have the word the. Instead, they actually change the word they're saying. So, flaskor becomes flaskan. You add an N. Now you'll notice when you learn more vocabulary that a lot of they sort of follow a pattern. Like if it ends in an R or a soft sound, it will be a plural, and if it ends in a harsh sound like n or t, then it will be the. Obviously, this isn't 100% for every single word, but it is a very big rule of thumb. Like it will cover a whole heap of words, like 80–90%, I'd say. Anyway, now how do we? The next question is how do we put them together for the bottles? It's simple. We put together the two words we've just made, which become flask or na. So we've got that flask, we've got that or from our bottles, and then we've got that n sound, that sharp n sound from the bottle, and then we just end with na, flaskorna, which is the bottles. Now, obviously, this is all quite useless at the moment, but hopefully, I'm going to help you create some sentences. I'm going to teach you just 2 more words on top of this, which will be, we might lose our accented words now, but hopefully you'll remember them. You can always go back. I'm going to teach you can and har, which is very similar to the English again, means can and har. No, I'm thinking Swedish, sorry. Have. So I want you, using this sentence I've given you here, and put together with what you can see here, say it out loud if you're home. Say, can I have a bottle? I know it's a bit of a ridiculous sentence, but I'll give you 5 seconds or so to think it out. You got it? Can, and then we have the ja, then we have our new word, har, en, it is a common noun, flaska, kan jag ha en flaska? Now, this is quite simple. I'm going to remove these quickly. Hopefully you remember this lesson. I'll give you another few seconds to go over it. Got it. Now, I'm going to teach you one more word. Want, which is vill. And so you got that? Yep. Okay. Now, when Swedish people say they want something, they don't just say jag vill en flask. They say jag vill ha en flask. They have the have. I want have a bottle. So using these and these, I want you to say out loud. I've just said it, so it should be quite easily, but try not to rewind. Say, I want a bottle. Got it? Just repeat it over. I know it's a bit tedious, but these are sentences which you're constructing yourself, so it should stick better. Oh. Sorry. Jag vill ha en flaska. Sorry, I am dyslexic, so if I spack out a bit on the keyboard, I do correct myself 99% of the time, but hopefully I won't do anything too embarrassing. So yeah, we have jag vill ha en flaska, which means I want a bottle. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to reply to that. So, how would you say, I have bottles? You got it? Jag har flaskor. I have bottles. It's a very jagged sentence, but you're getting the basics, which is the point. Hopefully you are anyway. So, next we're going to say, our final sentence for today is, you can have my bottle. I don't know in what universe this is actually happening, but obviously we're going to need some new sentences, new words, sorry. So hopefully, I want you to just picture what the sentence would be. I use the English words if you don't know the Swedish. Maybe you've already learned some Swedish and you know what would go here. But I will give it to you, and hopefully you'll have thought of something that was very similar. Du kan ha min. Oh, I went for the English. Flaska. You can have my bottle. So I'll end the lesson here. You've learned, if you have learned, you can always rewatch this video. You've learned how to pose questions, how to answer simple questions. Obviously, I'll go through a lot more vocabulary in later lessons if you guys want or whatever. But this is a very basic lesson on an introduction to Swedish, a first place to start.